Hi everybody. Hi and bye Gail. Hi Elaine, Jessica, Donna, Silver, Darla, Sharon. I hope you're doing good today. I don't know how the weather is where you are, but I know some of us are expecting some really bad winter weather. So that's not going to be good. I know that there's a whole winter storm warning for the northeast of the United States, and it's all connected to that polar vortex descending. Yeah, it might help, Jessica, if you get a sound. Anyway, I had to redo a whole bunch of stuff this week, and also the weather kicked my behind too, because even if the cold didn't get all the way down here, we did have some storms, we did have some rain, and we had what's the bane of my life, the low barometer, because anytime the barometer goes kind of like under 29.9, come on, I start getting really bad pains in my back from the scar tissue and the muscles who cannot compensate. Anyway, yeah, well, I was looking that we might get some rain and snow on Friday, so probably it's gonna get you Friday, Saturday too, Elaine. Hi Robin, hi Panda, hi Catherine, hi Space. Did you order your stuff, Catherine? As if you don't know, one of the ladies who got the first 2 tickets at the draw for the giveaway did not contact me in the first 24 hours or any time later. So Catherine was the third in line, so she got the prize. Hi Kathy. Sorry, I cannot see all my screen because of all the stuff in front of me. Anyway, I wanted to show you how to make a really easy and fairly fancy steampunk, hi Kazimi, steampunk heart without needing a whole bunch of knowledge. Because I know I did a steampunk heart not last year, I think 2 years ago, but it involved a lot of working on it, and I want to show you how to do something like that much easier. My only issue is that I thought I bought, because there's some PolyClay play has little watch gears inclusions, right? And I thought I got them. Now there's the thing, maybe I thought I got them and I actually did not, which I'm not saying it's impossible, okay? Or I did get them, but I put them somewhere. And who the heck knows, I'm gonna have to clean my whole thing from top to bottom to find them again. You know, and if you didn't know, Trish at PolyClay Play has a lot of steampunk stuff. Actually, she has a whole section. It's in the miscellaneous supplies. She has steampunk stuff. This is exactly how it's called. Yeah, I'm waiting for her to get translucent before I put in my next order, because I do have quite a bit of the rest, but with the stuff that I'm working on right now, as I'm experimenting on some things, it might take a while, and I might go through my stash of translucent really fast. One thing that I wanted to tell you, and you'll see me using it, there was, you know, the art alchemy waxes that I like so much, and there was a really real shortage of the old silver. That's one of the best full metal waxes out there, and I wanted to let you know it is. I put it in my Amazon influencer store. Don't tell me that it's again gone. Yeah, it's again gone. I'm gonna have to look for it again. But anyway, and I noticed on the other colors too. I'm gonna have to look again. It was there yesterday, and some of them are much cheaper, but they are not in the little tins anymore. They come now in tubes, so I'm going to use a tube. I'm gonna see how that works. Honestly, I wasn't very happy with the tins, but yeah, you're right. I'm gonna have to probably take again. I'm working on rearranging, not really rearranging. It's just that it got a little bit of a mess in November, December, and then I never got around to rearrange it. Not only that, but I had at one point I had put some stuff to block the cats from getting into. That's okay, Lydia. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I already made the part, the heart, so that we don't have to wait to bake and all that. We can work directly. I'll show you how to make this, and then we can work directly on it, and I'll show you in several ways. Now, this part, it's a mica shift, and it's made with one of plain old makings textures. That's a honeycomb, and it looks very machine-like. And I said before, what I really like about makings is that they can go through the pasta machine, and I will turn on the pasta machine camera. So okay, so the way that you want to work with it, like I have here the makings machine. That's my workhorse. I do have an atlas there, and it's covered with all kinds of stuff because I'm working, but I keep the atlas just for translucents and whites. And before I had the atlas and an old Amaco, and I kept the Amaco for just whites and translucents. But now that I was able to get a makings, I made the makings the workhorse. What the heck is this? And by the way, I was asked how do I get my motor to not wobble so much. It still wobbles a little bit, but not so much. There's some little felt, and I did put them in the influencer store. It's in the, hold on, let me get to it. I will show you. In the pasta machines, let me do the capture display. In the pasta machines, it's the first one here. They are regular felt buttons that you normally put on the bottom of the legs of furniture and stuff. Those are too thick. Those little felt things that I put there, they are thin enough to fit between the motor and the body of the machine. So this is my big trash can. It's a really big one, so I don't have to take it out too often because it's always full of papers and stuff. So let's get back to it. I have the makings, and the makings, you know, the one is the thickest. So what I want to do is to go two. First I'm gonna go on the one, actually. And then I want to go two down. Before anything, I want to make sure that I got the mica sheen, that I don't have any folding things. I mean, there will be some, but I'll make sure that they are on the back. Then, and you have to use towards the clay, you're gonna put the innie, so the one where the little hexagons are inside. So first you put a little bit of release agent, and I always use Armor All. I never use water or cornstarch or whatever. Everybody's got their little idiosyncrasies. With me, cornstarch, I don't like how it changes the texture, and water I don't like because it can create bubbles of steam. Okay, so this is my reasoning for it. Then I'm going to place this on the texture. And what I like about the makings machine is, because see, the Atlas has an on and a pulse, but the makings has a fast and a slow. So for this I'm using my slow. And like that I'm getting a very good and deep, as you can see, imprint. And with this, and I'm not going to need all of it obviously, so I'm going to press real hard on the top of it to make it stuck to the tile. And then I'm going to grab my thin shaving blade. Remember, these blades, you can find them both in my influencer store, but there you're gonna have to wait for a long time because they have come all the way from China. But Trish also has them in sets. You get one of the shaving blades and one of the cane cutting blades, and they are the best blades for this that I could ever find. They are very thin and very sharp. You don't need to work a lot with them. Okay, then what you're doing, of course you can use, because Makins has another sheet that's got like gears, another sheet that's got like screws, and another sheet that's got like ice screws, so you can use those. I just thought that this looks better. My thought, okay? And just shave off the raised areas. You won't need a lot of the whole of this thing. You just need a little piece, enough to do your to fit your cutter. I just made a wider piece so you can see how to get it through the machine. But you do want to shave for the full cutter to fit. You don't want to leave areas with these raised pieces, because when you put something on top of it, it's not gonna sit flat anymore. Let me get this off. And let me get one more shave here, because these are still a little bit too raised. I'm trying to keep my back straight due to pain issues. There we go. Now, once you did this, you want your area for the cutter. You're welcome, Anna. You want your area for the cutter kind of kept together here. So this should be good. And then you want to burnish. Wax paper. Remember, always use wax paper, not regular paper, for two reasons. Number one, three reasons actually. Wax paper is shinier than regular paper, so your surface will be shinier and will require less sanding. Number two, regular paper might leach a little bit. And number three, wax paper allows you to, because it's kind of transparent, allows you to see where you need to insist with the burnishing, because those would be the areas that are whiter. That means that the paper is not stuck to the clay underneath. So you need to make it all look dark. That would mean that all your clay is stuck to the paper. From time to time, remove the paper, and your first actual burnishing should be with your fingers. Just don't press too hard because you don't want to make divots. Okay, just, and then you can go rubbing. Now you can see I removed the areas that were inside the hexagon. I still have the areas that are between the hexagon, so that is not burnished. There I still have, those areas are deeper. So my next thing will be, but as I said, from time to time remove the wax paper, because otherwise your clay won't have where to go. My next thing will be to rub. Don't roll. Whenever you roll on a pearlescent or metallic clay, you are going to kind of realign flat the mica particles on the very top surface, and you're gonna lose some of the beauty of the mica shift. You can regain it if you sand through, but I mean, why do more sanding that you need? So always just rub and rub in all directions. And again, lift the paper. Now see, I only have some little areas left. See, I'm almost done. I still have a few dots here. And you can also use a little acrylic block. And again, just rub, rub, rub. This is how I'm actually checking myself, because you saw how the roller showed me that everything was fine. Now the acrylic block that is even on a larger surface shows me that actually the roller did not get this area properly. So these two areas need to be deeper, but I'm not going to go like this because I risk to make a wavy thing. I'm going to just go like this. And again, let me give it some room to breathe. Let's use this again to get a better. So I guess now I'm fairly good. Okay, so now I have a good area. And I'm not going to cut yet. Let me just remove it from my working tile. And as you can see, it's fairly thin, so if you want, you can place it on another sheet of clay. So this is the graphite clay. Now, of course, you can use the new metallic. They have the hematite thingy. You can use that instead. It's a little bit darker. I should have tried that to show you how that looks, but I think that at this point it is possible that I think Trish has graphite, but at this point I think the new metallics are much easier to find than the regular stuff. Okay, and I got this again on with the mica sheen, and it is on the thickest setting. Next, and I'm going to show you two different ways you can do this. If you have, this is, I think is Starburst, hold on. It's Helen Braille. Give me just a second. Helen Braille. Radiating rays. Okay, if you have this, you can use this. And again, I'm going to use release. You can get with it through the machine, but because it is much thicker than the makings, your problem is that you might actually get it too thin to work properly. So I practically want a little bit more on the one side. So I got this, right? And you can use this if you want, but you'll have to cut it in half right where the star rays are. See, right here. Or this is how this one was made. Or the other way that you can do it by yourself, let me get with it through the machine again. What you want is, and you can use a toothpick, you can use an etch and pearl if you want, but let me just use a toothpick because if I went I don't have so much money on supplies and textures, this would be the better fit, right? So I'm going to kind of consider like here my middle, and I'm going to simply make some rays. Let me not hurt my hands too much. And I got the general idea, so I'm going to make more rays in between. I don't know if I ever told you, but my left-handed arm and arm are almost useless. I am exceptionally right-handed. I've always had issues in my life because of that. So when I had the mastectomy surgery and it took away about 30% of the strength in my arm and hand on the right side, yeah, that wasn't very good. Okay, so now I got, it's not exactly the same, but it's not very far. Right, so let me cut it again right in the middle so that everything will come from the same side, and I need about like half. And what I'm going to do is simply just get the stuff that's really over the, and that is for a simple reason that I want to put another layer under this because it's very thin, and I don't really want to go and do all kinds of textured backs, because if it's supposed to be metal jewelry doesn't have textured backs, generally speaking, unless it's costume jewelry of a certain kind, and it does. But so I went with it on a 3 on the makings because I didn't want to make it too thick. But before I place it, I'm going to take my fingernails brush and give it a little bit of to make it look more like you know, scratched metal, because when you put the wax on it, it's going to look like scratch metal. And before I start anything, I'm going to actually grab me a piece of wax paper to work on. So this goes down, this goes on top of it with a lot of care not to trap bubbles, air bubbles. And there we go. And then I'm going to place this here. After which I'm taking some you don't have black clay? Because you can make darker hematite color just mixing a little bit of black, and actually if you have silver, you mix black and silver to get graphite. Okay, now remember, always when you use this to make rounded corners, you need to make sure that you don't have wrinkles. And then we can go ahead and cut. Of course, it's going to be a little bit crooked because one side is taller than the other. Where's my thing? And I personally always use my little, you've seen me using my little acrylic block because I don't have a lot of strength in my hands, and this, number one, I don't hurt by pressing on the thin edges of the cutter, and number two, I'm sure that I'm applying equal pressure on the whole area of the cutter. Now remember, it is very possible, depending how much you cut, it is very possible that the cut will not go through all the clay if you use the cling wrap, so you might have to remove the cling wrap, which might actually get stuck there, and then reposition the cutter in the same exact spot and cut again. Now, in my experience, and you've seen me doing this, in my experience I noted that if I remove the clay before removing the cutter, I have less of that, you know, that little lip that's left when you cut. Even if I normally don't even bother much with it, because I just remove it once it's baked. It's just a swipe of sandpaper and that's pretty much it. So there we go. Yeah, I do have a little bit of lip and this here that can be sanded off. But this is pretty much what you get. And then you have the back that's a little bit scratchy. And as I'm going to go with the wax on this, and I suggest you first wax it before resining it, because you don't want to put wax on the resin, right? So obviously I didn't have to use this yet. It's kind of a debugging. All right, so yay, it's like hair dye. Talking of which, let me show you something. There is if you bleach your hair, or if you use bleach hair color, give me a second. There is something, I mean, you know, Feria of L'Oreal, normally it's a good color, right? But there is one that you do not want to get. And if you, where the heck is it? Wasn't, let me try, not ultimate. I'm not logged in here on Amazon. Anyway, what happens is that it does have a bleacher in it, right? And then it has a conditioner that's supposed to be purple. No, the problem with it is that so-called bleacher turns your hair orange. Okay, let me show it to you. This is it. No, it's not this one. It's not Revlon. Hold on. It's not this one. It's similar. Give me just a second. I'll find it. Anyway, the problem is that the bleacher that's inside turns your hair orange. And then when you put the so-called toner to make it platinum effects thingy, it gets pinkish. So I'll have to put it, I'll put out something on my Facebook, because anyway it gets pinkish. The problem is, so after I used it, I try to use my regular, because I normally use the Wella Ash Blonde, it didn't stick on the area that was bleached with that Feria, L'Oreal Feria bleacher. I tried all kinds of other stuff. This one, what you see in my hair, was supposed to be blue. As you can see, got some little grayish areas, but that's pretty much it. So I'll put it on my Facebook. Don't ever try that one. If you like your hair light blonde, don't ever try that one. So I think I might have, and this is after I bleached it already with regular salon bleach, because before I did that, nothing would stick to it. Okay, so I'll show you first how all that. Okay, it doesn't work as good as the tins. You can't really control how much you get like you do with the tins. And it doesn't really look the same. It covered all my little, because I cannot control how much I get. Anyway, you can still see a little bit of scratches here and there, which I guess you can do afterwards, just to make it look like old stuff. Anyway, so as I said, use the wax before applying the resin, because you don't want to start putting the wax on resin. There's gonna be a lot more wax loss with this tube thing. But once again, you don't really want to put a texture on the back if you want to make it look like metal, because once again, I mean, even on charms, if they are not double-sided, you have on little stuff like that, you don't have texturized backs, only on very specific ones. Where's my now comes the thing, the problem with the inclusions, because doing any steampunk stuff that wants to look like steampunk, yeah, probably, but remember this one is raw, so I cannot press much on it. You can, before it gets hardened, you can always wipe off with alcohol, but on baked clay, not on raw clay. Okay, now the problem is, what are you going to put? I'm going to show you something. I didn't do that in a while because of COVID, and because I'm so terrified of COVID with my health issues. Because if you don't know, I had my lungs were badly affected by one of the chemo drugs I had, and I have pulmonary fibrosis, apical, that's on the top of my I don't want to mess up the brush. But what I used to do in all kinds of Goodwill and secondhand stores, and I also have a Chinese $1 store in my neighborhood. I wonder if it didn't completely tank. And I would get all kinds of stuff, and then I would pull them apart into pieces and be able to use the pieces however I wanted. Especially when it comes to stuff like this, for example, that looks very cheesy, very Chinesery. The thing is, we all know the whole thing with the swelligant, how to make faux metal look. Well, the Swelligant oxides work on these, so you can make them look like nice and vintagey and all that. Also, some of this stuff makes beautiful stamps and very, very fine quality stamps, and they are also innies and outies, and they make wonderful, wonderful impressions. Hold on, let me show you. And they work beautiful. If you're into foam metal and all that. So this is the front, right? The back will have pretty much the same texture, and I think this one and this one I got at Big Lots. They're like $3 earrings. A Swelligant is a combination actually of two main ingredients. One of them is a metal base and the other one is an oxide, but you can also get pigment, patina pigment, to make polymer clay look like metal. And it's, for me, it's not a problem. I don't really need Swelligant because I know how to make it look like metal. But for a lot of people who don't want to bother with that, and I do have Swelligant, I've been meaning to do a tutorial on it for a long time, but we'll get there. So I put it with the front up, again using my faithful acrylic. And then the only thing is that you have to remove it very carefully, not to disturb much of the there we go. I didn't do a great job at imprinting. I normally do much better. Let me see if I can grab more off the back of this thing. Let's see. You get all kinds of nifty things out of this. More expensive cheap jewelry. Well, if you have any kind of thrift store, you can go there, because at the Goodwills in my area are not that good anymore, because whoever got to be the manager now, I understood it's somebody's relative or something, and they want to transform it into a boutique style thing. Who the heck goes to a boutique to get worn clothing? But anyway, but there's a lot of secondhand stores that have cheap theater and all that kind of jewelry in bags, and you just buy a bag for a set amount of money. I used to get that, and a lot of other stuff, and like yarn and things. A lot of the thrift stores have that. When they get a sale, you know how they do items with blue tags on Wednesdays are 50% off. Items with red tags on Thursdays are 50% off. And I would just go and I would get the bags. So if the bag was $7, I would get it for $3.50, and then I would just separate this into pieces. But as you can see, I have here a whole bunch of stuff, and some of this stuff is actually, like these ones, they were on sale at Michael's when I still had a Michael's around. Some of them were all kinds of sales on, even on Amazon. This is from Big Lots. And then there are sets, and I have a special. Yes, I found rubber stamps at Goodwill too, and textures. But I have a section in the Amazon store, all with charms, and another one with inclusions. And actually it's not in the inclusions one, is in the resin area. And there are some clockwork stuff, but you can use charms. And be careful, because some of them say how big they are, some of them don't, and you might think that you get all these nice itty bitty charms, and then you get the boink. Hold on, where's my charms? Okay, there you go. So as you can see, some of them do have some gear stuff, clockwork stuff, and all kinds of gears and other things. Now remember, steampunk actually doesn't involve clockwork. That's clockwork punk. Steampunk involves everything that's related to, okay, this one is off, that's related to steam technology, right? But as you can see, cogs are fine because they are not just for clockwork. And then whenever you get the, how is it called, the steering wheel for a ship, I'm having a brain fart, you find it in all nautical charms. See this, I don't know how this is called right now. As I said, I'm having a, but and they say how big they are. See, 0.2 to 0.7 inches. So be very careful when you buy them how big they are. Like for example, these ones are larger. 1 centimeter, that's almost half an inch. To 10 centimeters, that's a lot. That's like 4 inches. Okay, I think that sun I showed you is from this set. But you can find on Amazon all kinds of steampunk and clockwork punk and all kinds of stuff. And for see, I have here that I don't think it's up. I'm gonna have to look for another one. Little hearts. After the live, I'm going to go and replace this. And remember when I made the little, actually I think I had them here, the little earrings with, they are here, come here, the resin covered earrings. Hold on. The resin covered dragonfly wings earrings, and they are right here. There's actually several sets I've put here, but as you can see, you can get all kinds of cogs and charms and stuff. Just be careful at how big they are, because once again, you can think that you're getting something that's this big, and it's actually this big. It's kind of like with the, when you buy gemstones on eBay and you don't pay attention to the description, you think you get this big of a cabochon, and you get a cabochon that's this big, and you're like, what the heck did I do there? So yeah, always be careful what you're buying. So I've kind of selected some stuff, and yeah, what I was talking about, charms. See, these are all kinds of charms from Amazon. Let's see if I have a part here. But yeah, like these wolves, I thought they were small. And as you can see, they are not small. On the contrary, they are huge. Let me see if there's something small enough here. Oops. Don't drop stuff all over the place. So no, there's nothing small enough there. I was so proud. So one time I got these little goddess charms. Look at them, how precious they are. And I got several sizes actually. Okay, this one is, or is not. Yeah, I've got all kinds of things. These hearts, I think they might be too thick to put in there. Yeah, they are too thick. They cannot be properly covered. Got some little owls. Let's see. Well, these owls are too thick to go in there. So, and I got some little keys that work nicely too. And I even can drop them. I'm an expert at dropping stuff. Yeah, John, no worry. The live will still be here after I'm done for you to watch it. The snow prep stuff is more important. So let's see, what can I do? I didn't look through everything here. Yeah, there's more small stuff. Because I told you, I'm not sure. I will have probably to buy another cogs, but at this point I have no idea where it is. I especially loved this. This comes from a thrift store too, from a bag. But I especially loved that. I think this is pretty much it. I can get a leaf from here, I guess. If I'm too lazy to get up to get the... I just didn't buy all of it at a time. What you see, it's the result result of years and years of gathering stuff. Okay, these are way too big. Now let's see, what do I want to put here? If I put the little owl, I wish I had a small cog here to put, but I don't, so it doesn't look very steampunky. If I use the key, not very steampunky either. Let's do a cog. This cog barely fits, kind of fits. This is too big. This is good, but it's too thick. So that's what I'm saying. It's very important to figure out what exactly you want to put here. So just for the sake of the whole thing, I'm gonna just put the, make sure that it's not too thick, which it might be. So look at it like this. Otherwise, the only thing I'm gonna have to do is to extend the resin on this side as well. Let me first rub this, because the thing that I did when I made the one ahead of time, I didn't make this part thick enough. See, I made it too thin, so some of the stuff will not show properly. I mean, it will be too thick. As I said, I'm an expert at dropping stuff. Yeah, that sculpting the stuff that you need is also a very good idea. Yeah, actually, this is too big too. If it were the other way around. Actually, this might fit. Let me cut this part here. Hold on. Hey. What? Shoo. Connor came to whine a little bit, because of course he always thinks he's not loved enough. Now the thing, I don't know if you were aware of the fact that the Art Alchemy waxes actually work on resins and they work on metals as well. So the only thing I don't like about this is it's kind of a washed off, like German silver, old German silver kind of stuff. So I'm going to brighten it up a little bit. See the difference? And of course you can wait a little bit for this to harden, so you can shine it, and it's going to stay there. No, not Finnegan, Connor. I have 3 cats. One of them is a British short hair mix, one of them is a Maine Coon mix, and Finnegan is a pure breed Minuet. Okay, so now this should fit. It doesn't really matter if it's upside down. It fits nice. Now if only I had some gear, tiny gear to put here and here, but of course you can do, and I showed you before in, let me see, actually I'm not sure if it was on the public or not. Oh, actually in the Steampunk journal I showed you how to make pipes and things. Steampunk. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's this one. There was a live with the Steampunk journal, and in it I showed how to do pipes and all kinds of stuff. Actually, I can even show you more. Come on. It's giving me some trouble because I'm kind of back and forth and back and forth. Alrighty. Not you. See, like I made here all kinds of pipes and steam like cogs and stuff like that. So let's get back to where we were. So you can check the link. No, pewter is not alpaca. German silver is alpaca, but pewter is not alpaca. It's a different thing. It's let me see if I can remember how it's called. Give me a second. Cositor is pewter. So it's a completely different thing. And Karen, minuets are non-allergenic cats. People are not allergic to the cat hair, they are allergic to the cat dandruff. And the breed itself does not make dandruff, so they are non-allergenic. So you might want to try how he is around minuets. They're also called Napoleons. Okay, so the idea is that whenever you do this kind of stuff, my advice is first to put just a drop of glue before you start resining this in, because you don't, and let it dry a little bit, because you don't want your charms and inclusions and everything to start moving around as you place the resin. And the other thing is that by that you make sure also you can actually place them on the clay ahead of time before you actually bake the clay, and very gently press them down to make them fit much better, but still glue them, because that way you ensure that the bottom of whatever inclusion you put there is completely flush with the clay, so that you won't have resin coming underneath, because all that resin will remain, if you're using UV resin, that resin will remain uncured because there will be no light getting to it if it's under something that's fully opaque. So your best bet is to first gently glue your stuff on it. Now this is the new stuff, and I got it from Trish from PolyClay. This is the new Loctite that I love way better. I'm not gonna put, I've got the resin here, but I'm not gonna put it because I'm not sure if this won't start moving around. The thing is that I had the older Loctite and I still have like half a tubes. The problem is that they didn't have a good top, and I kept them just wrapped in cling wrap, and they wouldn't harden because this thing doesn't harden until you mix the two together, obviously. But let me actually show it to you. You probably can find it at Lowe's as well. But I'm not sure if you can find it with this exact top. Let me find it. The E600 is okay, but it's not that terrific. Okay, so there we go. It's an epoxy quick set, this one. And this is the main deal with it. It's the, she's got all kinds of stuff. The X6000 might not glue very good polymer clay, but what I love the most about this is, look at this. So and then you put it back, you make sure that you are well within these little grooves, and then there's no dripping, there's no nothing. This is why I completely put away my old one, because it's so much trouble to keep getting it around. But so remember, you can use waxes to shine up these. You can use Swelligant on little metal findings. Hold on, I'm shining up this so you can see it. You cannot tell anymore that there was wax on it. It's completely metal like. If you don't believe me, let me get it in full close-up. Yeah, E6000 doesn't work that good with clay. It's not that terrific, but see, so this was the wax on it. I allowed it to harden, and then I buffed it on my lounge pants, and it's beautiful. And the same for, let me buff it some more. The same for the one on the clay. Actually, I could leave it a little bit longer too. I didn't put a lot of wax here. I'm not sure, I would have to look, honestly. I am not sure. Because I cannot just look for something. Should be in bonders. Let me see. No, it's not in bonders. Let me see if it's in miscellanea. If not, I'm gonna put it in bonders, obviously. Counting tools, applicators. Where's my tools? I have so many things, and I told you I spend several good hours every week to try and keep this updated. Hold on, show you, actually, not to let you sit in there watching what me looking at the screen, but let's see if it's in tools. If not, I'm gonna look for it. This one I liked. I bought these two separately before, but, and this one too. But it's awesome when you have the tiny jewelry clamp. So no, it's not here either. I don't think I put it in the store. Good thing that you reminded me, because I don't see it. The only place it could be would be in the liquid clays and bonders. and it's not here. So this is where I'm going to add it, in the liquid clay and bonders. Maybe just change to liquid clay, bonders and glues, because it's nowhere near. Alrighty, so this is another thing that I need to add. Need to make a note. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a good idea, to make all kinds of little charms and things. I do have a whole bunch of little molds, but what I use, remember, what I prefer to use for this kind of stuff, just because it gets detailed so good. If you remember, a while ago I did a tutorial on how to use Oyumaru for making molds. Hold on, let me get to it. And it's just because it is so delicate and sensitive. You can use it to make molds, and the good thing is that, remember, it's not hold on, I'm trying to get the link for it. If you decide that you don't want that specific mold anymore, the only thing you need to do is to just warm it up. Yeah, I cannot add it right now because, as I said, I don't have the login for Amazon on this computer. I have my own way of dealing with security and privacy. But getting back to that, the other thing that I wanted to remind you, that if you got a bigger array of the Art Alchemy Metallics, remember that if you're going for Valentine hearts and everything, you have reds there, you have pinks there, so you can make red metals and you can make pink metals. So you can actually do a pink slash fuchsia slash purple slash red steampunk heart. And not only that, but you can actually, let me show you how that works. Let me go grab a couple of them to show you how you can change the color on the charms. Okay, I have here the Fire Ruby. This one I didn't close properly. I hope it didn't dry. The Indian Pink. Oops. And this is the, I cannot see it, the Sweet Rose. Now let's see what happens to them if you use them. So let me get this, and I'm going to use a little bit of this. And of course you can use, you can actually place some mix like 1 part graphite, 1 part magenta pearl, 1 part white pearl to get a more pinkish looking metal thingy. But even if you go just with a plain graphite, or even with silver if you want, I will do refocusing on close-up so you can see the whole thing, because they have so many colors in the Art Alchemy sets, and you can use it for Easter, you can use it for Halloween, because you don't have black, but they have a beautiful orange that is absolutely fabulous. And if you put this on black, it looks even better on black clay. So you can make a lot of goth type pink, purple, red steampunk hearts. I'm just trying to make sure that I close them well. Yeah, you can find the Oyumaru. I have it in the store in the mold making supplies. And the thing is that they look much better once the clay is baked and everything. But remember, all these colored clays, waxes, they look the best when they are on black, if you want to do all kinds of experiments with them. And these are not shiny because of course they need to harden, and they should be on baked clay so that you can buff them up and make them look like metal. But yeah, there you go. All kinds of fuchsia and reds and pinks and stuff, and they look beautiful. So yes, I think I have all of them. I don't think that they came up with anything new. I know that I got, again, I didn't get all of them at once, you know, I just got 2 or 3 at a time in months, and until I got the full collections. And actually Trish sent me a couple just as a gift. So, but I got all of them. So pretty much this is the whole idea. And then you place UV resin on here, and you let it, you use the lamp. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to bake this, because as I said, this one is not deep enough for me to use something. I'm going to bake this, and then I'm going to put the resin with the inclusions and everything, and make a short video, because I still have to show you I didn't finish sanding them. I still have to do the high grade sanding with the hearts from last Sunday. So yeah, now I'm not sure what we're gonna do next Sunday. It's gonna also be something more or less Valentine's related. Might not be a heart this time, but we might work on other stuff, and I might even go more into resin things. Okay, just for the sake of it. Hi Sharon, and hello to Colleen and everybody who I didn't see, because I keep looking down and up and everywhere, and it's hard to always follow the chat. So thank you so much for being here with me. And again, I was hoping to put something out this past week, but I messed up, so I had to redo things, and due to the weather I couldn't sit on a chair for longer than 5 minutes at a time. Because see, the problem is, I can sit on a chair, for example, I can play a game, because I can lean on the back of the chair and I can turn on, because remember I have one of those massage thingies that you put over a chair, and I can play a game, I can work on writing something, but I cannot work on stuff because I have to be like this, and that kills my back muscles. So I don't know. To be very honest, I'm going to tell you something. To be very, very honest, I am sure that at this point, even if I usually don't accept your pain is psychological in nature, because when you have an actual physical issue that causes the pain, like pinched nerve, generalized disc disease, stuff like that, and it's a physical thing there that causes the pain. How the heck can you say that it's psychological? Nevertheless, I do completely agree with stress increasing the pain level. And like I'm sure all of you, because I'm not special in this, everybody is more or less affected by the whole situation in the world we're living in, with the pandemic, with the not sure what tomorrow will bring, with everything. So right now sleep disturbances and depressions and all kinds of mental issues are starting to be number one in the health issues, and not just of American, everybody, pretty much everybody. Because, and I'm gonna tell you something that scares me the most, and the thing is that I started talking about it since March last year. I'm not sure, I don't remember if I said it on any of the lives or because we're gonna have next Saturday, we're gonna have the monthly chat with me. That's going to be on the 6th of February. But anyway, I don't know if I said before, because the same that I've been whining about why the heck nobody makes a mask that has a voice amplifier that we have. No, I have no idea what the Clay Symposium is, but I generally do not participate in events because my health makes me unreliable for commitments. Okay, I cannot make any kind of commitments of, oh yeah, I'm going to do this on the 18th of February, because it can very well happen that I have a severe fibro flare, or because of the weather I cannot actually get out of bed. So something like that. Unfortunately, that's the reality of being disabled. But what I was saying, finally I saw that razor came up and is going to come up soon on the market. I posted it on Facebook. But let me get back to what I was starting. I kept saying since March of last year that the winners in business for the next years are going to be the companies who manage to convert their business. I think somebody's puking a hairball. Convert their business into the virtual, and that we should start to realize that we need to transform our society to one of less physical socializing, because this whole SARS-CoV-2 is just the beginning. And thank you. The issue is because of all and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be partisan, I'm not trying to be, but it's just stupidity to not obey social distancing and mask wearing and all that, because like, why would you? Because they don't work. Well, they don't work if you don't do them, but thank you, Angela. And with me, it's not just fibromyalgia. I have a lot of stuff going on. But anyway, the thing is that the more the virus spreads, the higher the chance of mutation. Because let's say if you have a mutation chance, risk, however you want to call it, of 1 in a billion, right? And let's consider that for each person to be, thank you, Stella, for each person to be actually infected, they would probably get around, I don't know, let's just throw some figures out there, 500,000 viruses. So if you get, so how would that be? 1,500,000. So if you get 100,000 people infected, there is the chance that one of the viruses, when it's going to start replicating, it's going to mutate. Now think that you don't have 100,000 people, you have 1,000,000 people. You're gonna have the risk of 10 viruses mutating. Now you don't have 1,000,000 people, you have 10 million people. You're gonna have 100 viruses mutating. Well, see, it's the hopefully, but you never know, because we don't go just on hopefully, I mean, think about the flu mutations, because it's not about so much about weaker in terms of survivability for the virus. Generally speaking, in the natural world, whenever the mutations are, the mutations that do not exactly, there's two things, and I'm gonna try to talk about them very fast. I can talk more about that Saturday if you want, but the thing is that the mutations that kill the host too fast generally die out, because the host dead. I mean, they cannot move. It's the mutations that spread faster that are going to be successful. It's the same with the flu viruses. Why do we need a different flu vaccine every year? Because they mutate. And the more infections, the more mutations. And the other thing is, hi Joe, the other thing is that I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but a lot of the human genome and a lot of the evolutionary process actually happened because of viruses. In our human DNA, we have, I even forgot, I think it's like 80% of some DNA strands that originate back to viruses. We have viral DNA, and without viruses, I know what you're talking, it's in part of the foundation. I forgot which of them, but the planet's name was Aurora, and they were making, no, the planet's name was Solaria, and it was one of the satellites of Aurora, and they were making robots, and they were only visiting in holographic stuff. Anyway, so to get back to it, it is very interesting to know how this virus, because they already figured out that it does affect, they found it up to, no, it's more than that, Karen, it's way more than that. Because you have fragments, you have just fragments, like the fragment that changed the what was that, the sweat to milk, and there was one more from that. Then it got another piece of coded, and that changed the milk protein to something else. I'll have to look back to that. But anyway, the thing is that when the viruses replicate and they send strands all over the body, but especially on towards the reproducing cells like ovums and spermatozoa, and the most susceptible are the spermatozoa. This is how these little strands of viral DNA and RNA, because in some of them they can be just one strand, that's RNA, and the other one is the whole helix, that's the DNA, get transmitted to future generations, and not placenta, not in the placenta. Placenta is not reproductive, that's sustaining. It's the eggs. There you go. Is Daniel Oliva? Are you sure it's Oliva? Yeah, but that's what I was thinking about Solaria too, when the whole thing started, that we might have to get to that thing. But anyway, they already discovered that it does enter the brain, it does go through the blood-brain barrier, and that it does go to the two guys' little fishes, right? So definitely there's going to be some viral DNA transmitted to future generations. And I was actually laughing, I'm sorry, I hope that YouTube doesn't penalize me for this, but because the whole thing is that the latest studies are not entirely sure. They are studying some more, because it seems that it might affect male fertility because they go in the spermatozoa. But I was thinking, oh man, if it would cause erectile dysfunction, guess we're gonna get to a vaccine on it in a matter of weeks. Huh? Yeah, I'm not sure if Oliva is the name. Hold on. It's not, it's Daniel. It's not that. You got the name kinda. It's partner Elijah and partner Daniel R. Olivo. And it was Daniel Olivo, but the middle initial was R from robot. No, it's this one. Elaine, that's the name of the guy. But it's a very, very interesting book, and it's part of the whole Foundation series of Asimov. I used to be crazy about, I mean, before I came to the US, I had, I don't know, around 3,000 books back in Romania that were my own. That's on top of whatever my parents had at their house. But I had complete collections of sci-fi. Yeah. So yeah, he was Daniel R. Olivo. So, but he was the most human looking like robot that they had at that time. Very, very sad. Anyway, I might reread it now that you reminded me of it. Anyway, I shall see you all first Saturday the 6th of February, and then we'll have another live Saturday the 6th at 10:30. Usually my Saturdays are at 10:30 so that I can have time in the afternoon to do some other stuff. And then Sundays, the next Sunday I'll probably post it Friday as usual. Yeah, I had the full Nemira collection. I'll see you Sunday the 7th at 12:30 Central. So if you're on the East Coast, it's gonna be 1:30. If you're on the West Coast, it's gonna be 9:30, right? No, 9:30? No, it's gonna be 10:30. 10:30. Okay. See you all Saturday. I'm gonna go lay down now. Thank you so much for being with me, and I hope you found this informative enough, even if we didn't manage to completely finish something. But as I said, I'm going to finish this and the other, finish sanding and buffing the other ones, and we'll make in between a short video to show you how they look like. Okay, see you Saturday. I love you all. Don't forget, if you just discovered my channel, subscribe, give me some thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that little bell so you would be notified. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.